Let's go over the basics of how to track a basketball game using the Vorped game logger. First, the layout. The layout's divided into three main sections. On the left, you have a box to enter your game events. In the middle, you have the current snapshot of the game. It looks a lot like a scoreboard. It has each of the teams, how many points they've scored, and each of their players, and how many points and fouls they have accumulated. And then on the right, we have a historical record of what has happened in the game up until this point. And so you have every event that you have logged. Then we have our team stats based on those events that we've logged. So we have some possession level stats here. And then we have box stats. So every player and how many points, assists, fouls, rebounds, and blocks. Now let's talk about how to add events. And so one of the things we aim to do is to minimize the amount of typing you have to do. And so one way we do that is, instead of specifying that Rodney Hood made basket, we'll refer to Rodney Hood by his jersey number. But in addition to that, there's one problem with that, and that is there could be multiple number 5s. So for example, there are multiple 17s here. And so one of the ways we get around that is by keeping track of who has the ball at any given moment. And so let's just say that Utah has the ball for some reason. And so the way to define that is to type in their team abbreviation, UTA, colon, and then type ball. You can also do B for short. You add an event by either pressing enter on your keyboard or pressing this add button. And you can see that it adds a new record to the play log, and then it highlights Utah here, which denotes that they are the ones that have the ball right now. Now let's talk about made and missed shots. So suppose that Rodney Hood has made a shot. And so we refer to Rodney Hood by his jersey number 5, and then a made shot will be a plus. And so you see here that it adds a new log here, and it has parsed this based on the information of the jersey number, whatever you typed, and then who has the ball, and it automatically knew that Rodney Hood was the one that made the shot, not someone else on a different team. And so here let's talk about a missed shot. And so a missed shot is, let's just say it's this Damian English here, number 17. 17 missed the shot. And so instead of a plus, we'll do a dot or a period. Press enter. And you can see that it's Damian English that missed the shot. Notice that possession didn't change. And notice that it knew that it was not Grant Jarrett, but it was instead Damian English. All right, now let's talk about rebounds. So rebounds on missed shots, we want to move the possession to Utah. Let's just suppose that Grant Jarrett, number 17 on the other team, has rebounded it. We type in his jersey number, and then we do an R for rebound. And you can see that possession changed. Grant Jarrett has the defensive rebound. Now, how do you do offensive rebounds? Let's just say that Rodney Hood has missed a shot, 5 dot. And Grant Jarrett has offensive rebounded. So we'll do 17, and instead of R, we'll do OR. Cool. And so you can see that Grant Jarrett is the one that offensive rebounded, and again, did not get confused with Damian English. Now let's talk about 3-point shots. You might have wondered, well, how do I know that this is 2 points and not 3 points? And that's because all pluses and dots are assumed to be 2-point shots. To denote that it's a 3-point shot, you do, let's talk about a missed shot. And so let's just say Rodney Hood has missed the shot again. You do 5.3. So 5 again is the jersey number, dot is missed, and then 3 denotes that it was a 3-point shot that got missed. Press enter. Here we go. We have a 3-point shot missed. And then let's just show you what it looks like with the made. And so you do 5 plus 3. And you have a 3-point shot made here. There's another way you could define 3-point shots, and that is if you do 3 colon to define that as a 3-point shot. And then you do, let's just say Kevin Jones here is the one that made it. We'll do 6 plus. Okay, there you go. Now let's talk about fouls. the most common foul is a defensive foul. So it's very similar to the other ones. Let's just say Kevin Jones has made this foul, and so we type in 6, and then we do an F. There you go. Kevin Jones has a foul, and his foul count has incremented by 1. To do an offensive foul, you do, let's say, Ronnie Hood again, 5 OF as opposed to F. And you note that the offensive foul changed possession of the ball. Typically after fouls you have free throws, and so let's talk about free throws. And so let's just suppose that Jorge Gutierrez here has free throws, and so we type in 13 for Gutierrez, and then FT, and then just like before, a plus is a made, a dot is a missed, so you could do plus plus for made both. And you notice that possession changed after the made second free throw. You can also do, this doesn't make sense during a game, but let's just say Bryce Cotton here has free throws and he missed both, dot dot, and possession didn't change. Cool. Slightly more advanced are assists, and so you might be wondering, how do I know who passed the ball? And so one of the things that we could do is, let's just say that Ronnie Hood has passed it to Bryce Cotton, and so you want to define a relationship between the two, and so you do that using a greater than or a less than sign. And so the key point here is the pointy end is the person receiving the pass and who eventually made the shot. And so this defines Rodney Hood as the person who passed it to Bryce Cotton for the made basket. There you go. And then you could also do it the opposite way, and it would be fine too. And so let me just give the ball back to Utah. And so if we wanted to say the same thing but in the opposite direction, you could say this, and it would be equivalent to what you had before. So again, the pointy end is the person receiving the pass and eventually making it. Lastly, let's talk about turnovers. And so a turnover is always an offensive person. So let's just say it's Kevin Jones here, and it's TOV. And let's not confuse that with timeout, which is TO. And so if we do 6 TOV, we have a turnover, change possession. All right, so those are the basics of logging the events themselves. I'm going to talk about a couple more tips. So one tip you might be wondering about is, what if I mess up? And so let's just say I have sort of accidentally put something that shouldn't be there. You can delete this. Each of these logs has an arrow here, and so if you click it, you'll see that there is a remove play option, and so if I click it, it'll just be deleted. The second thing is, what if I messed up? What if I got like either the arrows wrong or the wrong player or something like that? And so you'll notice that all of these boxes look a lot like the boxes where we first entered these items. And so you could click into these and edit them by editing them and then clicking out. And so let's suppose that I got this wrong and that it was Rodney Hood that passed the ball. Or, sorry, Rodney Hood made the basket. So let's just say Bryce Cotton, and it points at Rodney Hood. And so if I do that and click out of it, you'll see that it flips. And so you could also do this for, maybe I got the play wrong completely. And so Kevin Jones didn't turn it over, he actually made the basket. And so I could just change this to 6+, click out of it, and you see that it changes to a made shot, and it increments the score. All right, and so finally, you'll want to save all this just in case you've made a mistake, or you just want to keep this for your own personal record. So down at the bottom, you have a Save As button, and then we can click Save As, and then you can name it whatever you want. It by default just gives you the name of the teams and then the date that it occurred, and then press Save. Oh, place it. Okay, and then if I go back to the front page and then I choose Load Previous Game and then choose that same file, I will end up back where I started just a few seconds ago. Okay, and so those are the basics of the Vorped game logger. In a later video, I'll talk about more advanced concepts.